to all the attendees and all of you who are going through this presentation of mine. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time to come to this webinar or look into this presentation. To begin with, my name is Prince and I represent India's largest health and beauty retailing company, which is Health&Glow. So welcome to all of you, and I would like to thank KOTRA for getting you and us together this morning. Going to my presentation today, what I intend to do is I'm going to talk about some general understanding about the Indian market and how we are shaping up with COVID and what are the health and beauty trends, the window of opportunities. I'm also going to talk to you about having a successful business partnership in India, because I assume that many of you want to join the Indian market, but you need some more knowledge. In the second half of my presentation, I'm going to talk about my company, which is Health&Glow. I'm going to talk about my company overview and what we do overall. Going forward from here, I'm going to talk very, very quickly about the impact of COVID in India. So I'm not going to talk about much about the COVID impact globally, because the impact is quite similar across the globe, be it in Korea, be it in India, or be it in the US. But I'm going to talk about some broad points for us to come to the common platform. So I'm building two scenarios here. One is the pessimist scenario and one is the optimistic scenario. And after this slide, I'm going to tell you which one I feel is more accurate to me. In the pessimist scenario, the impact of lockdown on business and liquidity is going to be big. The extent of lockdown will further worsen the situation. There is going to be a weak demand overall. The recovery is going to be at least about 12 to 18 months. Spends on basics will go up, and spends on luxury will take a back seat. Travel, tourism, malls will all be impacted. So that's the general pessimistic scenario. While on the optimistic scenario, what we find is the size of the economy. India is a huge population country. So the size of the economy actually brings in a large opportunity. A large consuming population, a young age group, India being a low export economy, so the impact of global recession or global crisis would be lesser. Consumers would switch habits. They would try to find out newer avenues to consume, and business and policymakers will quickly adapt to normal, the new normal. So that's the optimistic scenario. Building on from here, what I feel is, by the way, there are two newspaper clippings, and you'd see a lot when you Google. You'd find that most of these opinions actually say that countries like India and China are a little better off compared to many countries in the Western world as far as the COVID impact is concerned. China is already seeing themselves coming up, and India, while the scenario is not very good, but we inherently have a lot of strength to come up. Now, moving on from here, I did mention to you about the optimistic scenario, and I am of the belief that things are not all bad and things are actually improving. Here's a big news for all of us. Let's look at the market opportunities, the comparative scenario of India. Now, if we see in 2015, the chart on your left-hand side, you'd find India to be the 7th largest economy in the world. The chart on your right-hand side, which is a chart from 2019, shows India as the 5th largest country in the world. And these are GDP numbers. So in 2019, India moved to 2.9 trillion US dollar economy from a $2.3 trillion in 2015. And the estimates are that in the next 10 years, India would be the third largest country in the world after the China and the US. So that's the size of the GDP. So today, India is the fifth largest economy, 2.9 trillion. It's growing steadily. It has been growing quite steadily before the COVID. Interestingly, we have 1.3 billion population. The average age is 27 years. We have a steady political regime, a good quality management available in India, and a very large English speaking workforce. Now, all in all, that makes India as a very, very interesting country to step in. Now, post-COVID, what we also find is that there are shift in consumption patterns. Consumers are switching more to personal hygiene. Consumers are switching more to safer products, to do-it-yourself products, personal grooming, health, fitness. Consumers are asking the question, is this product good for me? Consumers are becoming a little more price sensitive, and they have now started even shopping from online, much bigger than what they were doing before. All in all, what's the story? It's a large population. It's a young population. There's a huge market, and there is a huge consumption story. Now, the story is shifting towards personal hygiene, to safer products, to do it yourself, but the market opportunity is available to us. Consumers are looking into omni-channel retailing. Consumers are looking into shopping online, and those opportunities are already existing. So there isn't a problem essentially overall. There's a problem in some section which is getting transferred into demand and a newer door opening on the other side. Now, that brings me to the confidence that things are not all bad and things are going to be quite interesting once we have the recovery phase. Now, importantly, let me come a little more closer to beauty and wellness, which is the business that I represent. The important thing before COVID was inside these stores, you'd find beauty advisors advising consumers, product testers. Consumers would pick up product testers in the store, try it on themselves, and then make a purchase decision. There are a lot of trials which happen, which is physical contact trials. Before COVID, people were not very interested in where the products come from. People like good quality products, but people were not very interested in knowing if it comes from Korea or if it comes from Europe or if it comes from China. People would, if they love the product, they would buy the product. Not all the consumers would be concerned about green or safe products before COVID. Shopping from malls was a big thing for consumers. Color cosmetics, premium fragrances always saw great traction. Visiting salons for personal grooming, a very common way of life in urban India. Now, this is all pre-COVID. What is happening after COVID? Now, the physical beauty advisor is actually becoming a virtual beauty advisor. So we have a lot of beauty advisors inside our store who assist customers. Previously, before COVID, they were doing this physically standing on this store. Today, we are converting our beauty advisors as virtual beauty advisors. So our consumers log into our portal, and then they can, over the Skype or over the Zoom or over a WhatsApp video call, they consult our beauty advisors. So that's becoming virtual. The product testers, consumers are no longer willing to pick up product testers inside the store. Virtual makeups and virtual trials, we have converted all our physical makeup and physical trials into virtual. So everything is now happening on video. Consumers have suddenly grown very interested, very, very interested in the source of products, where it comes from. They have become interested in green products, safe products, products which is no nasties. Switching from high street to e-commerce, I did already mention that. Visiting of salons have really come down. Personal grooming has now started taking place at home. So all in all, the post-COVID world looks like it has opened up a new opportunity, and an opportunity which is more digital, which is more virtual. And one thing which is coming out much bigger and stronger is trust. If consumers are trusting the retailer, if consumers are trusting the brand, if consumers are trusting the source, that is where they are investing more after the COVID. Now, that is one of our biggest pillars that we're going to talk about. So in summary, what is our window of opportunity? Trust in products, trust in the brands, the source, the retailer. Consumer focus absolutely accelerated towards health, hygiene, quality, and do-it-yourself grooming. And last but not the least, ability to shop with convenience, social distancing, touch and feel, which is virtual, and assisted, consumers assisted when they're asked for. So that's all virtual. These are the windows of opportunity. So naturally, the question is, what would be a Korean advantage? Now, you as a Korean organization, what is your advantage? Let's look at some fact sheets. Let's understand, Indians really love Korean products, and I vouch for that. Indians believe Korean products have great quality, and I'm not saying good quality, I'm saying great quality. Indians believe Korean products have great quality. K-beauty is already getting very popular in India. K-pop is already very, very popular in India. And thanks to some of the early start companies, Korean companies in India like Samsung and Hyundai, which are household names for over 20 years, I thought the Koreans enjoy a huge confidence in the Indian market. So it's a fact, and it's available for us to explore. Now, what are your advantages given the backdrop of this fact sheet? The trust on Korean origin, the single largest consideration here. The fact that Indians trust Korean products is the biggest advantage here. Followed by K-beauty already getting popular, so you already have a head start. Skincare, color cosmetics, already a booming market opportunity. Get inside this bandwagon quickly. It's going to be an advantage for you. Even if you are a private label manufacturer, I would advise you should get into this market, and this is probably the right time. Remember my slide? I did mention India is a huge country, 1.3 billion population. It's a very young country. You have a population which is less than 29 years old. So you have a market which is about 20 to 30 years to enjoy here, because we have a huge population and we have a young population. Now, this is the right time for your company to get in. So the Korean ingredient is already very strong. The timing is right. I would advise, let's get onto the bandwagon, join the growth story of India, and you're going to see the difference you're going to make. Now, how do you make an entry into India? It's a complicated country. It's a huge country, but let's understand in a very simplified form, how do you get into India? You get into India by doing a business partnership, either with an Indian organization or you set up your own office. The Hyundai and the Samsung has their own offices. The other Korean companies have joint ventures or they have business partners in India. After you have formed your business partnership or your office in India, what you do is you register your products with the government of India. Now, we would guide you in the space of health and beauty. We will guide you on how this registration happens, and it's a simple process. It takes a bit of time, but it's a simple process. So you register your products. You have your warehouse and logistic partnership going through. If you have your own office, you have to set it up for yourself. If you're into a partnership, your local partner will set up the logistic and local warehousing facilities for you. What are the options available to you for partnership? You can either join a large retailing company like ours, or you can find out a credible distributor. But please bear in mind, whatever you do, have a good partner. If you are a credible brand and if you are looking into the Indian market for a long time, for a longer horizon, look into a good partner. It's like marriage. You should have the good partner with you. So either a large Indian retailing company or a credible distributor are your safe bets of getting into India. And of course, depending on the kind of product that you're talking about, you have a plan of marketing or a go-to-market strategy. You can choose between an offline and an online route. And you'd again, if you're looking at an online route in India on marketplaces like Amazon or any foreign e-commerce companies, you'd need an Indian partner to do business for you, because by the Government of India regulations, as a foreign company, you are not allowed to directly sell into another foreign e-commerce platform in India. You need a local partner. So that's the model in simple. Now, I did mention to you about entry into India. Now let's understand what are the key simple points of a successful business partnership. I did speak to you about partnership, that you get yourself either your own company set up, or you have a Indian retailing company or a business partner or a distributor. What are those 4 or 5 big things that you should keep in mind for a successful business partnership? The first is your business partner should have the requisite trust, reputation, and the track record. Now that's very, very critical, because like any country, you'd have some good people and you will have not so good people. So it's your responsibility to figure out the partner with the requisite trust, reputation, and track record. Amongst your partner, you need to also figure out, does your partner has adequate business experience in the field that you're looking for? Do they have quality management? Do they have a professional team? Do they have a similar vision like your company? And do they have a bandwidth for a long-term sustainable business? If all the 5 answers are yes, you've got yourself a good partner. Go ahead and sign up with that partner. But that's a tricky affair to find out a good partner. Be mindful about the fact that you need a good partner to start your business in India. So that would be my part 1 of the presentation, which is more to do with the market, more to do with partnership, more to do with success stories. In the part 2, I would talk about my company, Health&Glow, and the opportunities that we bring to brands and manufacturers through us. The first starting point is that we are a 22-year-old retailing company in India. We run about 170 stores. We have a very sophisticated shopping experience. We offer a one-stop solution for almost all beauty products, both domestic and international brands. We are an omni-channel retailer. We have our e-commerce, we have our own apps, and we have our physical stores. So 170 stores, our own online business, and we are an omni-channel retailer. We have a huge population on social media which follows us. And by the way, we also act as a bridge between manufacturers and brands and e-commerce companies like Amazon and other marketplaces. So we remember I mentioned that if you are a foreign company, you are not directly allowed to sell to another foreign or non-Indian origin e-commerce player like Amazon, for example. So you cannot directly sell on Amazon. You need a local partner, and we act as a partner. So we have our own stores, we have our own e-commerce, we have our own omni-channel presence, plus we also act as a platform of brands using us to sell their products on the likes of Amazon and many other e-commerce marketplaces. So that's our model. A very quick understanding about who is our customer. Our customer is predominantly a female and they're from socioeconomic class A plus, which is the super rich, to rich, and to B, which is the medium class. The average age group is about 16 to 45. Our consumers are very well traveled, they're trend savvy, they understand K-beauty, they understand K-pop, they understand Western beauty, they understand green, they understand no nasty. So this is the kind of product that we are talking about. And they all believe that appearance is very important. Our consumers really want to look and feel very good. So that's about our consumers. Our physical presence, we are present in malls, high street, neighborhood, and in office campuses. On the right hand side, you would see the map of India. We are virtually present in 60% of the country. Unfortunately, we had planned to open our stores in the northern part of India, where it's still not yellow shadowed, but because of COVID, we cannot open. However, you need to appreciate that 170 stores is a large size company. And once the COVID is over, once we step into the northern part of India, we are absolutely the largest, by far the largest physical retailing in this country. Today, Health&Glow again is the largest and the oldest physical retailing health and beauty retailer in the country. So we are the largest, and we will continue to be the largest going forward. And our presence, as I mentioned, across the board, malls, high street, neighborhood, office campuses, we are present across the board. And this is how our stores look like. You'd get to see some understanding about the kind of stores that we are talking about. They look quite modern, they look quite contemporary. On this slide, I'm now talking about some of the big brands. You see, we offer customers a choice between color cosmetics, skincare, hair care, organic, feminine hygiene, and these are some of the brands that we're talking about. You name a big brand and we would be actually having those brands with us. As I mentioned, our advantage, we are a beauty destination in the country. And what are our unique propositions? We have our in-house product experts who are very well trained. We have our in-house makeup artists. We have skin testing analyzers, which offer our consumers free skin testing and recommendation of what are the skin testing, after the skin test, what are the kind of products that our consumers should use. India also unfortunately has a lot of fake products, counterfeit products. Since we are more than 20 years old, consumers know and consumers come to us for guaranteed quality and authentic products. Now, this is also a problem with the e-commerce, because half of the products which is sold, consumers tell us that they don't trust, thinking that it's not a genuine product. But when we sell a product onto any e-commerce site, not only from our stores, but also onto the e-commerce site, consumers know if it is Health&Glow, it has to be authentic. So that's another strength that we have. I did mention that we are an omni-channel retailer. We are a click and collect retailer. We have contactless checkout, and this is operational even before COVID. And we also run India's largest loyalty rewards program, which is called the Glow Rewards program. So that's in a nutshell about us. Now, this particular slide will tell us, which are the countries that we import our products from. We import our products from United Kingdom, Estonia, France, Spain, Greece, Malaysia, Italy, Germany, and even interested in South Korea. Now, on the right-hand side, you would see our standard process, and I could take you, if you write back to me, I could even take you more in details in terms of, how our import process starts. So it begins with the brand identification, goes on to assortment fitment, credibility check, and then we do sample evaluation, goes on to registration, and then once all of these things are aligned, then we continue further in getting your products to our consumers. So that's in a nutshell. I'm going to be very happy to talk to you and take you through our standard process once we start discussing more. Now, I did mention to you that I'm going to talk about some interesting trends emerging on our e-commerce, and let's see what are the trends which is emerging. Before COVID, we saw color cosmetics, skincare, hair, naturals, and fragrances as our top 5 categories. Now the list has suddenly become much longer, and it's more than 5. After COVID, we find hair care, naturals, bath and body, hygiene, skincare, facial masks, DIY kits, combs and hairbrushes as our top searched and top performing categories. Now that's to give you a flavor of how the opportunities on one side shutting down and how the opportunities on the other side opening up. But that's in general about the Indian market. That's in general about Health&Glow. After this presentation, I am more than happy if you write to me. I am more than happy to give you more information about the Indian context and more information about Health&Glow. But before I end, I must once again highlight and emphasize, India is a huge market. Indians love Korean products. It is an interesting confluence and a right time that the Korean business houses like yours should start looking into the Indian opportunity. Make a step in right now, and it's going to be a very interesting long-term business opportunity for you. With that, I thank all of you and namaste.